Portugal has once again done something amazing. They have made it illegal for your employer to message you after work. So once your working hours are over, that's it. They can't message you or they can get penalized. This is incredible. So I'm going to get to details here. They've also passed more pro-worker reforms, believe it or not, that are also awesome. But first here from Vice. The legislation approved on Friday comes following the expansion of home working after the coronavirus pandemic, according to Portugal's Socialist Party government. Under new rules, employers could be penalized for contacting employees after work and will be forced to pay for increased expenses as a result of working from home, such as gas and electricity bills. So not only is it now illegal for your employer to contact you after work, they also have to help pay for your increased expenses for working from home, like your gas, electricity, and internet. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, in the US and Canada, there are companies trying to justify paying people less because they're working from home. But here in Portugal, they're actually paying you more to help you with the expenses from working from home. Just absolutely amazing. Now, to be clear, this only applies to companies with 10 or more employees, so really small companies are not impacted by this. And also, to be clear, this is what a socialist party government can do for you. Think about it. I know Bernie isn't a real socialist, but if the U.S. got someone like Bernie, you would see these kinds of pro-worker reforms at least be discussed. Now, before I get to more here in terms of what Portugal also passed, just my experience as I worked years in an office, and of course the emails, the messages after work were endless. Lucky for me, I understood I was being paid by the hour, so I took that very literally. I barely ever messaged or responded to emails after work, but I imagine some people don't have that luxury, and if they ignore those kinds of emails, they'll just be fired. But here, having this kind of protection where now an employee can say, look, I didn't get back to you because it's illegal for you to message me, is a pretty good reason to have a better work-life balance and not be so focused on work even when you're not in the office or in the home office. Now, in terms of the expenses, because this is also an amazing piece of it, so it includes electricity, internet, but not water, and employers can write off those costs as a business expense. Now, a little more in terms of what Portugal passed here from Vice. Further rules will be implemented to aid employees at home, such as banning employers from monitoring their workers at home and ensuring workers must meet with their boss every 2 months to stop isolation. Incredible. Like, this is exactly how all employees should be protected across the world. This is a major worry right now in terms of how your work may be monitoring you when you're in your home office, but having this again as a clear policy banning employers from monitoring their workers from home is obviously an incredible step in the right direction. And again, the focus here on the worker, because you have a socialist government in place looking out for the worker. How rare is that? I mean, the majority of policy that gets passed is passed for pro-corporate reasons, because you have these giant lobbies, these massive corporations pushing for certain policies that will help and benefit them and their bottom line. Here in Portugal, with a socialist government, you have them actually looking after the worker. It is, this kind of thing is unheard of on the other side of the world. But so Portugal in general has been a trailblazer in Europe in terms of their approach to the pandemic. So a little more here from Euronews. Portugal was the first European country to alter its remote working rules as a direct result of the COVID-19 pandemic in January this year. The temporary rules made remote working a mandatory option, with a few exceptions, and obliged employers to provide the necessary tools for getting the job done at home. Again, this is the kind of thing where the employer, the company, has to bear the cost, but it helps the employee, it helps the worker, so it was pushed through. Large companies were not able to stop this. Amazing. Now, also, I want to reference this because this is why at the beginning of the video I said Portugal did something amazing again. Because back in 2001, they decriminalized all drugs. I still think Portugal is the only country that has done this. Decriminalized all drugs and put a ton of money and investment into healthcare and treatment. So Portugal went from the top in Europe in terms of overdose deaths to the bottom. So you see, after 20 years, what has happened? This is, I mean, to see this kind of lesson, to see a country implement something like this, you see the benefits of it over 20 years, and still, there's still a discussion in terms of what to do when it comes to drugs and overdoses. It's clear what you should be doing. Decriminalize drugs. Don't penalize people that need treatment, and put a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of investment into healthcare and treatment. It's obvious what needs to be done. Look at Portugal. So hopefully other countries will also look at Portugal when it comes to workers' rights, but unless there's, a socialist in power, seems unlikely. But at the very least, it's good to see that there is one country out there that is putting the workers first.